Hello everyone, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Ultimate General Civil War, the final campaign. In fact, the final phase of the Battle of Washington. We fought the first day's action at Washington and have successfully seized the Union capital. Remember, we're playing as the Confederacy, but now we must withstand a ferocious Union counterattack, which aims to destroy our army trapped in the northern city. As overwhelming Yankee forces come down on us. Now, our army is in reasonably good shape. We did lose several key commanders and officers. In fact, we have at least one division without its general officer, the 2nd Division of the 1st Corps. But in general, our army is in reasonably good shape. Our 1st Corps lost about 8,000 men, so it still has around 25 left. Our 2nd Corps lost most heavily, around 11,000 men, still has 21,000 left. And our 3rd Corps lost sort of in the middle there at about 9,000 men. It's also our least experienced corps, so it's the corps I'd like to rely on the least. Additionally, we don't really have any additional sort of spare manpower. If we go here, we can see Peabody's battery, which doesn't have a commander. We can assign Neil Upton, the lone captain, in our reserves, but we don't have anyone else that we can assign from the reserves, so all of these units that are without an officer are going to remain as such. If we go ahead and continue here, we will see we are in the second day of the Battle of Washington. We can see here that the Battle of Washington, 11 April 1865, we have to acknowledge the fighting spirit of the Federals, who desperately fought to the last man yesterday. They did not leave an inch of ground undefended. All soldiers from both armies who sacrificed their lives shall be remembered for their heroic acts. Our men are exhausted from the full day of carnage, and now they have to fight again. The Army of the Potomac, commanded by General Grant, and several Union corps have encircled us and prepare to attack. There is no way to escape, so we have to give our last battle here, in Washington. If we hold the city and all the forts, we can claim total victory. To battle, men, to battle. So you can see here we've got a whole bunch of Yankee blue arrows pointing in on us. We've got 3 sections we have to defend: Fort Stevens, the flanks, and Washington. Fort Stevens is kind of out here isolated on its own. I'm not sure why we have to hold it, but apparently we do. The flanks are more easily defended here in the center, and Washington in the rear is also apparently vulnerable. It looks like there's a Yankee blue arrow heading in from the south as well. Sorry for that yawn. We've got 3 corps to assign. Our 1st corps is in best shape and is our best corps. So I'm going to assign that to Fort Stevens because that is going to be the most difficult task to hold. The 2nd Corps, which is in sort of the 2nd best corps in our army, although is the weakest, will be assigned to the flanks, and the 3rd Corps will be assigned to Washington. We'll go ahead and hit start. You see we've got 74,000 men and 162 guns. The enemy has 99,000 men, so they only outnumber us by about 25,000, but their artillery outnumbers us nearly 2 to 1. That's going to be a challenge for us to deal with. Actually, come to think of it, I wonder if we can assign any guns, like if we've got a battery of guns that we have spare guns in our arsenals. Doesn't look like we, or can we? Well, we don't have money for it. Can we do this, really? So, we just got those guns. Oh, no. Well, we don't have, wait, we have the manpower. Why spend money? Can we actually assign reinforcement guns? Wait a minute, that seems like a flaw. Could we really do that? Wait, what? Not that I want to take the morale hit that would require, but see, we've got like this battery, for example, could use 3 guns, and so apparently we can assign additional guns to our forces to make our troops stronger. Interesting. I'm not actually going to do it because I don't want to take the morale hit that using that prestige will, but that's an interesting little tidbit for this game. Hey, Mariinsky. Yes, we are definitely surrounded. All right, let's do the one thing we were going to do here and go ahead and get that guy signed back. Yes, sir. And we'll go ahead and go back to battle. So here we go. 1st Corps again, Fort Stevens. 2nd Corps on the flanks. 3rd Corps in Washington. So go ahead and jump in. The northern side of Washington was conquered yesterday, but the battle is not over yet. Okay. Union armies have assembled and are determined to attack and destroy us. General Meade is deploying to the left with support of at least 3 corps. Gibbon's elite corps is preparing to attack Fort Stevens from the west. Several units of Sheridan's cavalry have been spotted behind these woods. And the 2nd Corps is advancing with massive artillery batteries, presumably under Hancock. 5th Corps and the 6th Corps is coming from the northeast, ready to blast our defenses with hundreds of artillery pieces. At least 2 more full Union corps are marching to the east side of Washington. All possible escape paths are blocked, as more enemy forces are expected to attack from the south suburbs of the city. Our fate is to defend Washington with all our remaining strength and utilize its own defenses to drive the Union back. Okay. Alright. So, General, we can use Washington's northern fortifications to defend ourselves. You bet we can. Fort Stevens hold Fort Stevens with a strong brigade, and with strong brigades will safeguard our center. Fort DeRussy must be held to defend our left flank. I don't understand the Fort DeRussy piece. And Fort Slocum will guard our right. Brace yourselves, the enemy is coming. They're coming! Okay. So we have 5 brigades on the left here that we can use at Fort DeRussy. And this is the piece that confuses me, because Fort DeRussy is way out here, kind of on its own, and I just don't understand why we have to defend it. Again, it's really exposed. It's completely outside the line of these trenches. These trenches are all inside of it. You would think we wouldn't have to defend it, but I do know for a fact that if you fail to defend it, you lose the battle. So you don't really have a choice. You have to defend it. Let's move these troops up here closer to Fort Stevens. We're going to get all these troops as close as possible where they're going to be marching. So probably here's still. Actually gonna. What do these guys have? CS Richmonds? The Stonewalls have Fayetteville's. I'm actually gonna send the Stonewalls on a race up here to Fort DeRussy, because Fort DeRussy, in my experience, I've only played this battle once off camera, but Fort DeRussy, in my experience, is the most difficult of the positions for you to hold as the Confederates. And so, because it's so exposed. So I am going to send some reinforcements that way, and we'll see how that all plays out. I'm less worried about holding the rest of these positions. For brigade and reserve here. This artillery up north here. Johnson, I'll also move. So I'm going to just kind of deploy these brigades in these woods here. We'll take this battery of artillery is going to move north to this redoubt. The infantry will cover the left. Already got those troops assigned. Kirkland. And again here, this artillery battery will move this redoubt here. So this is the other corps, isn't it? Interesting. So I can't use all of my troops? I'm confused here. First. So these 3 all have to be part of the same corps. These 2 corps are separate. Looks like we can't bring all of our troops to bear. Definitely going to pull some of our our smaller brigade. 1,800 men there. There. A little bit more experience, but like the size over the experience. That's weird. I don't know why I wouldn't be able to assign my whole force, unless they're actually going to be part of a separate force further south. Like as part of the second phase of the battle, maybe. Brigades are going to go in here. Alright, so those guys will take the fort on the left, Fort Slocum. These guys will move into the woods over here to sort of guard our right. Ooh, Burnham is way too small. 600 men. Gladly take 1,100. That. Get all these guys as close as possible. Those batteries of artillery are going to move north, I think. Actually, Butler's battery is going to move into this. Well, there's 2 redoubts over here, actually. Thinking maybe we leave one of these redoubts undefended and we put 2 batteries in Fort Durussy. I think that's what we'll... Actually, we've got 2 batteries of artillery back here. The infantry, I wonder if it wouldn't be more valuable to use than the artillery. Nonetheless, we'll keep that as is. Okay. I think that's what we'll do here. We'll go ahead and start. We'll pause. We'll immediately get these troops into the defenses. So 3 brigades will be placed in the defensive works. Another brigade will be placed on the ground. Artillery batteries. We're going to send the Stonewall Brigade on a double quick march to get over there. Fort Durussy, kind of again out there exposed by itself. Avril, Gary, Granton, and those forts. Lane will be in reserve. Nelson, you're going to double quick this apparently supply wagon. Been captured, I guess. Artillery deployed to that out. Going over there. These guys assigned to charge into their positions. Battery of 24 pounders is going to go on the front of this defensive position. You're kind of a flank. Batteries will... These redoubts. You guys are going to be kind of a reserve, I think, for the fort. Don't think I'm going to man these fortifications on the flank here, because as long as I secure up to kind of around here, I don't really need to, I think. Parrots, or 24-pound, yeah, howitzers, they'll be here. I think that does it for all of our orders. Skirmishers will take this ammo wagon here, or this ammunition depot. Wall's moving at the double. Actually, I want Johnson in this fort. Keep the defenders' morale up, because then they're way exposed out there. Alright, Nelson just took that supply wagon. Great. Supply wagon will stay on the flank. Understand why this supply sector hasn't fallen. Alright, there it goes. Okay. Troops are all forming up, getting into position. Go ahead and get Amon over here on the left. I think he'll be more useful over there. And for Otis. Now we're going to move the machine gun brigade into Fort Durussy as well. At the double. That way, if these 3 brigades currently in the fortifications are pushed back, we've got 3 reserves in the fortifications as well. In fact, why don't we put these guys out here in these houses? The flank, the Stonewall Brigade over here on the right flank in those houses. It should give them good cover, and it should help extend the line and defend the fort. The weird thing is these two fortifications here on either side of Fort Drusy are not occupiable by our troops, which seems like a flaw, in my opinion, with the way the game works, because any other time that would be something that would certainly be, you know, you'd expect. Okay, you can see these troops under Gibbon are coming up toward our fortifications. Full divisions of the 5th Corps are approaching us. Moving up here. Let's move the Alabama Brigade here. Alright. We're going to move Betty to this redoubt to defend this artillery. Or there's no reason for you to be there. You'd really have to get around our flank for you to threaten. So you move up here to support the redoubt of the Butcher Battery. Slocum really secures our right flank. We'll move Amon here into Fort Stevens. Nelson is kind of moving up too. Lane is in reserve on our far left. Pickett is also sort of in reserve over there. Alright. Stonewall Brigade has their Fayettevilles and also has great cover in these houses. So they'll provide kind of a support on the flank of Fort DeRussy. Same for the Barksdale Brigade on the other flank. Chew up that cavalry there. The Stonewall Brigade may take some casualties. They're kind of exposed as far as artillery is concerned. Bill's got good cover. We can always fall him back, though. See quite a few troops stacking up on that flank. Could we burn Washington? Oh my god, you guys are losing a lot of men over there. We should fall them back. A lot of fucking artillery. Move them back to the rear of the... Good God, run! I didn't expect the artillery to be quite that potent. Alright, so enemy troops are kind of approaching. They're not really pressing us anywhere. They're all kind of getting into formation. Ooh, there's a lot of troops here. But they're all... I'm gonna form this... I'm gonna actually abandon Fort Slocum. I have to hold the fort. But I'm gonna bring these guys in because this enemy here has kind of got their flank in the air. A little bit, anyway. See here, 2 brigades are charging Finnegan's brigade, which is in his own little earthworks. Stonewall, why don't you go into the fort? I don't know if it provides any cover to be in there, but I'd rather you be inside these walls. Wow, that's a lot of cavalry here riding down. Opposing its flank to us. Alright, quite a few enemy troops are charging on our right flank. Making a serious push here. Finnegan's holding strong. He's got more in support. 2 Yankee brigades have already been thrown. Well, 1. Kelfrey and Trucks have both been thrown back. Edwards is coming in. Looks like Hamblin's brigade was thrown back charging the Butcher Battery. Hold more off the top of that redoubt. Where are your damn guns? I don't know why you're taking so long. Alright, so we've got several brigades lined up here in the fields on our flank. 3, a matter of fact. Could launch a flanking assault on these Federals here on the right. A bit of enemy artillery is up here. Move Nelson in. Alright, that enemy cavalry unit was destroyed. Ripley's charging Gary. You can see up here, up top, we actually outnumber the enemy on the field here. We've got about 43,000 men. They've got about 33,000. But they have quite a bit more artillery than us. That's the real crux of it. Skirmishers on their flank over here. I think I'm going to launch a flank attack. I'm going to bring Doles in here. Doles, Bretthead, Lynch, Jackson, all on the flank. Doesn't feel like they're making a serious effort for the fort yet. We do have some reserves nearby if we need them. Concern is all this artillery. Really tempted to march out and try and deal with some of these batteries. I just worry that what that would take. They've got so many guns. Stonewall Brigade is doing better now that they're not really in cover, but they're not the focus of the enemy artillery. Wen's engaging Wilcox smartly from cover. Bring it and quite a few federal troops over here on our left. Avril and Gary are engaged there. We've got Lane in reserve. I'm bringing 2 brigades forward to try and deal with some of this artillery to our front. Gonna move them at the double. Goal here is kind of a hit and run attack against these guns. Hopefully without getting devastated by canister. The idea is to fire a volley, drive them off, and then shift to the next brigade before too much canister fire can hurt us. Did manage to get a volley in on Kennedy before he canistered us. I think we got 2 volleys in on him. Nice. So Kennedy's battery shot up a bit there. Go ahead and advance Pickett here. And Otis. Otis has lost about less than 100 men by the looks of it. Pickett's taking canister fire now. Alright. Dakin is being driven back. Pickett. Alright, so Dakin's battery is actually destroyed. Now we just have Westcott. 2 great volleys there on his battery. Maybe we can destroy him with 1 more volley before he gets out of musket range. Not quite. Alright. Otis, fall back. So, Otis lost about 100 men. Pickett lost about 200. Really reinforcing Fort exposed out here. We at least demolished 2 batteries and hurt 2 others. Pickett just had a nice little volley there. Evans' cavalry. Trying to get him over there. He's lost about 200 men. Looks of it, our right is secure. Other flank seems relatively secure after that initial push against Finnegan's brigade. Doesn't seem like they're massing too heavily against, I think. So Pickett will make it to the fort. Relatively good shape. He lost about 300 men through the action. You can see here, presumably the enemy's going to kind of swarm us on the left flank. But I did just demolish a good deal of those batteries that really hurt the machine gunner was at the Stonewall Brigade that was kind of out there on the right. That's positive, I suppose. We're going to try and flank these guys here. Let's go and launch this attack over here. Also some enemy artillery batteries over here that we're going to have to deal with. Hamlin gets a volley and all he can do is respond against some skirmishers. 3 casualties inflicted, that's it. Very good. Advance into these homes, get some cover, and then we're gonna swarm up on Penrose. Meanwhile, our skirmishers will probably take some casualties, but I'm gonna have them sit in these homes and try and deal some damage to this enemy artillery. Bring Jackson up for support. The homes should provide some cover against the canister. Here they've got 100 cover, although presumably these are heavy guns, so... Let's see here, Penrose did get a volley off. Taken 2 volleys to the one he fired. The third. Nice. 4th, and there he goes, routed, being driven back. We're attacking the enemy left, or their left, our right. Jackson just got his skirmisher shot up a bit. You guys run there. I want you to focus on the enemy artillery over here. I really want to break up these grand batteries, if you will. Did lose quite a few men. Alright, so we drove back 1 battery. We're going to advance its color. Far left flank, we're hanging in there. How's Gary doing morale-wise? He's good. Averill's good. Fort is cut off, but I think doing okay with that general officer over there. Meanwhile, no serious threat to the rest of the line. Really, the action is on the other flank. Drove off that 1 brigade that was in front of Finnegan. Now we'll try and see what else we can do. Deal with Cohen's battery here. Get 2 brigades firing into it. There we go. 2 batteries, 2 volleys, and that battery is shot up a fair bit. Hyde's being driven off. Tracy's being driven off. Right flank is going much better for us, I think. Endless artillery batteries, though. And I don't like the idea of continuing to advance my own infantry across the open against these batteries. Or I can do to weaken them now, the better. Oh my god, there's just endless batteries. And again, no cover. I was getting some canister against Lynch. Lewis is being routed. At least some of them are low on ammo. That'll help. Good volley here, Lewis. Maybe you can finish him off. Yeah, destroyed Lewis's battery. Very good. Driving him from the field. Horse taking some canister. We're now also into their infantry range. Why is your... Fine. Shoot at the infantry. Maybe you can destroy them. Almost. Please shoot your guns. Don't do nothing. Alright, Hamlin. Alright, that infantry brigade's destroyed. Taking probably too many casualties here. Maybe, again, probably being a little bit over-aggressive. Prince batteries being driven back. More was just pushed back. Artillery's shattered. More we can do. Weaken these guys. The less of a threat they'll be. It really looks like they're seriously going to stack up against other fort. I'm actually going to advance 2 brigades forward here. Maybe Ammon's brigade too. We advance 3 brigades here. Try and help the fort out. On the right. Benton's battery was just shot up a bit. Right, Moore lost pretty heavily. Let's bring him back to the fort. Finish up. There you go. Cowan's battery's dead for good. This attack, while bloody, should secure our right flank, I'm hoping, for the duration of the battle. That's the objective, anyway. The action should finish off Harn here. And while you can see here, we've got 2 brigades chewing up Chamberlain's brigade. Almost destroyed him. The enemy has a whole bunch of artillery, but at least we're shifting the fire away from Durussi a bit. Also, advance up here. We've got Ammon coming in as well. Maybe he can take out this artillery battery. These are really spoiling attacks at the end of the day. That's what they amount to. Brigade. Alright, Adams being pushed back. Why don't you get out there on the double quick lynch? You guys are in good condition. Fire a volley there at Allen. Drive him back. Switch back over to Adams. Well, Lynch advancing on the double. Fire a quick volley at Parsons. Maybe destroy him? Maybe? Yes, there you go. Now shift your fire over to Howe. Destroy him. And then come help Adams out. Meanwhile, Jackson's skirmishers, you're going to go back and you're going to rejoin the fort just in case some enemies surprise us. Probably be checking on the other attack going on over here. Logs routing. Broke back when, I think. No, not quite. Otis drove. No, seriously, wow. Alright, at the very least, they're not making a serious effort at Durussi while we do this. Fall back. Your morale is shot. Surprisingly, Nelson's only lost like 100 men since this whole attack scheme began. Ammon lost like 400 or 500 men. Ripley just died, or I think is about to have died. Yep. Alright, so we are shooting them to pieces over here on the flank. They're down to 24,000 men. They've lost over 80 guns. There's another battery routed from the field here on this flank. So we are getting in deep behind their lines and doing some serious damage. Again, this artillery, this 400 guns that they have, these are critical to the Union's ability to overcome your forts. Their ability to pound you into oblivion is absolutely critical. And we just destroyed their whole right flank, basically, with 4 or 5 brigades of fresh infantry. Without infantry support, a lot of the rest of these artillery batteries are going to be largely sitting ducks. We withstood the worst that they had to give us on that flank, and I think this flank is no longer going to be any threat to us. Again, if you get 2 infantry brigades firing at an artillery battery, you can drive it from its position pretty quick, and then you can outrun it to keep it under fire before it can really recover. And, retreating toward our lines. Alright, going back to the other flank. Barksdale advanced. Alright. You know, how is Gwen still alive? Really? Shepherd, we've got to try and break up these brigades. Again, the biggest issue, one of the biggest issues with holding Derussi is how exposed it is. But if we can provide support from our main line and break some of these other federal troops up, we can lessen that isolation, if you will. Alright, so that brigade's dead. Nelson is finally suffering some morale and casualties here. Gwen's brigade is down under 200, or right around 200 men. You can see 2 more Yankee brigades running off the field for good. Why is it trying to run like way out there? I'm not trying to tell you to attack those guys. Attack Shepherd's brigade. He's in close. It's Hughes trying to run straight through Barksdale's lines by the looks of it. Gwen is somehow still alive. Why is he not routing from the field? Is he going to go down to 0 men? Is that the actual... Alright, so all of these brigades are done. Pretty much. There's one more that goes away. Can't believe how we're pushing these guys. Superior federal numbers on this flank really doesn't matter. Now we can come in behind these 5 artillery batteries and destroy them in detail. We could... Oh, wait a minute. Meanwhile, we're getting attacked inside Washington. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this part of our look at the defense of Washington. We've taken the city, and now we're resisting the massive Union counterattacks on their own capital. Hopefully we're able to hang on, but we'll find out here in the upcoming videos. I hope you're enjoying this series as we start to speed toward a conclusion, and in our next video we'll take a look and see if we're able to hold the city of Washington itself. Until next time, however, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.